So I'm going to tell you what's going on in America right now, but most of y'all are not going to like this. We are literally in a let my people go moment. Moses versus Pharaoh. I'm talking about plagues and all. Because after 400 years of oppression and marginalization, the black community rose up in 2020 to demand justice from Pharaoh. It came with a plague called COVID that left over 1 million people dead. Still, we did not listen. Instead, we hardened our hearts. So more plagues have followed. The second plague was the big lie, the loss of truth. The third plague was January 6th, the loss of the rule of law. The fourth plague, the plague of tariffs, the loss of economic stability. And the fifth plague, the plague of ICE raids, the loss of human dignity and decency. Our economy is shrinking. Our global standing in the world is diminishing. Our rights are being eroded every single day, and it's going to get worse and worse and worse until we listen to the voice of the black community calling for justice. Let my people go. And remember, those people didn't go away empty-handed. The Bible says they plundered the Egyptians, asking for silver and gold. So don't forget, the wealth transfer is part of the deal.
Christians in the South, God is punishing you right now with an ice storm. It is the entire red belt of the South being taken out by ice. He could not send you a more obvious message if he tried last year. He tried to get your attention by sending a hurricane to the top of a mountain, but you still didn't pick up what he was putting down. You think you're about to get raptured? No, you're the third of the earth that is being destroyed by natural disaster, and Texas seems to be the epicenter of evil. There's definitely a lot of Jezebels in Texas, so if I were you, I would get out that book and read what it has to say about sheep and goats and camels and needles, because it seems like you didn't get the message the first time. You know, my faith has started to dwindle, but it has been restored because I see the good works God is doing. He's giving you a chance to repent your wicked ways. Amen.
America has fallen. The United States of America has fallen. We are officially the divided states of America. We're on the brink of civil war. We're knee-deep in World War III. Yes, we're in World War III. And if you haven't heard about it, it's because they haven't announced it yet. But it doesn't take a genius to see what's going on around the world. You have countries trying to take over other countries. You have the United States trying to take over other countries. Wasn't this something that we fought against? Now, the two biggest terror threats in the world right now are MAGA and MIGA. You already know who I'm talking about. Those people right now are either cult mentality or stirring the pot. You already know who's who. And like I said, we're on the brink of civil war. And that's on purpose, because that's what they want. They want the division so they can take us over. And they're not going to take us over from the outside. They're doing it slowly from the inside. You already know who the insiders are. It's just a matter of time. Now, we either come together as a nation or we fall apart and crumble. Because last I remember, it's united we stand, divided we fall. Just food for thought, people, whether you're Republican, Democrat, Independent. The time is now.
You know, across the world, I've never seen so much spiritual people as Black Americans. I know we have different tribes, different groups, different ethnicities that are so much spiritual, especially to things that happen to them and things that happen to other groups of people. For the past recent days, not for the past recent years, we've heard Black people saying this is not our fight. Some people might think that this is just a physical fight. When Black Americans say this is not our fight, spiritually it means that there is a supreme being that they have left the fight, that will fight for them. And when you get to look at this deeply, you get to understand that this is truth. This is the truth. Because the punishment that these white folks are having right now, I mean, the type of life that they are living, it feels like a punishment. Living in the United States feels like a punishment. And so you get to see how God himself is turning things around and making it hard for everyone. When I say everyone, I mean everyone. But hey, there's something different. This is something about black people because God Himself understands that this group of people have been going through a lot of stuff and they have seen and heard a couple of challenges. So it makes it hard for everyone. But the difference is that black people are already used to this type of tough life. So to them, they already find alternative ways of surviving. I mean, look at the black farmers. Majority of these Texas, Nebraska, all these old states, white-dominated places, you get to understand that they depended on agriculture so much. Look at it historically or look at it spiritually. You get to understand that it is the same type of folks that destroyed black farms because they presumed blacks as their competitors. They presumed black as their enemies because they couldn't believe that black people will come out of slavery and do agriculture successfully. And so they decided to burn down the black crops. But now, fast forward to like 200 years later, see what's happening. Yes, farming in the United States collapsed. Food became a problem. And we are all seeing these things. But what is happening to black farmers? Black farmers are still standing still. And this tells you that when black people say that this is not our fight, sometimes it's not physical, it is spiritual. I will let you watch the video, guys, and then I'll be back. I'll be sharing my 2 cents in regards to this. So let's watch the video. I'll be back.
Not see that he was killed by those agents, you are quite literally filtering your reality to protect your personal beliefs. As we all know by now, ICE has shot and killed another person in Minnesota, and I don't really have a direction for this video. I kind of just need to like rant, so if it makes sense, it does. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I just don't know how you can continue, if you are supporting this, how you can continue to twist the narrative of the story to be something so outlandish that it's not even like kind of like plausible. Like, I don't understand like how you are not seeing that you are completely changing a whole story. You're completely changing what is in front of your two own eyes to fit something that you want to believe. I don't know how any of you sleep at night knowing that you, first of all, voted for this, but second of all, support this and continue to support this. This like, go watch the video. I'm not even gonna tell, like, go watch the video. Watch it in slow motion if you have to. Like, watch the video. I have so much. I have so much to say.
And the Lord today, even with the things the Lord said today, it shook me. It shook me. He talked about the plague. He talked about the plague, ladies and gentlemen, today. And I've never experienced anything like that. And I'm not going to go into the depth of it because it's pretty private. Some of the things the Lord said to us, it was to us in preparation for our ministry and what we're supposed to do. But in this, he kept saying, there will be not a fatal wound to America, but he said a major wound. He said that the heads of the people have been stiffed up towards me. Can you read part of that?
Yeah. Where you start with the cities, that part?
I don't know. Let me see. Because there's a lot of it. I do not want that out. About them, there'll be a wound inflicted.
Yeah, I'll find it.
And he said, because their heads are up towards me, he said, I will bring them to their knee and to my side by bringing them humble their heads. I'm going to humble the heads.
Okay. Will you grieve and turn to me? It will not, and they said, it will not be a fatal wound that you will see. It will not be a fatal wound that you would see, but it will make you come will it make you come under me, or have you turned your back upon me? Will this wound that you're about to see turn you back to me?
He's talking about his shaking. And he was telling, when I saw in the vision, he said, the people have turned their heads up toward me so much and I'm done. Basically, I'll give you and he said, so there will be a
Even
shaking.
Their hearts are far from
Their hearts are far from me. Even the people of the church, our hearts are far from me.
He says he's looking for the wholeness, a humbleness to me. Humble yourself under me.
As I saw the shaking coming, as I saw, he said the next 3 years, he spoke about very greatly about this next 3 years.
Oh, here's another part with the fatal, but because you have turned your face to me at one time, now you have decided you have detached yourself from the vine, and a great shaking will bring you to your knees, but the wound that you will see will not be fatal. Only if you don't bow your knee, when you are grieving, what will you see? Will you turn back to me when this has been afflicted? Will you turn back to me? Will you bow your head low for what you're about to see? The very life you take for granted and the prosperity that I've given you will be shaken to its core. I bring you to my side. And a humbling you will see that will bring you to your knee.
Mm-hmm. Then he said, you think they're coming after your crown jewel, your city that is a crown jewel to America, but they are planning to infiltrate the other cities.
That if the bride of Christ in America, if she does not wake up, if she does not pray, if she does not repent, if she does not stand on business, we will be held captive in our own country by a radical ideology. We will fall very quickly and our children will suffer. This is me warning America. I don't know what that was. Don't laugh. Whatever that was had to have been divine. God using a prophet to sound an alarm in America. Give me the camera. God using a prophet to sound an alarm in America that we better wake up. The bride in this country, and we better stand on business. And we better pay attention to the people we put in office. And we better pay attention to how we're praying and laboring. We better pay attention to what we're doing right now. This is God sounding an alarm in America for his bride to wake up. The sinner cannot see because they're blind.
I will say that this was a breaking point for me in the way that the administration responded to it. Like, I didn't think what's happening right now with ICE could happen in America. I genuinely did not think that was possible. I thought I thought the Constitution would hold up. When I see it and then immediately defend it, I start to go, we gotta be very loud about this. Like, it all of a sudden becomes not like liberal catastrophic thinking. It starts to become very reasonable, nuanced criticism of the administration.
I'm so tired, child. I'm so tired. I'm really tired.
There's something so disingenuous happening right now with white America, saying that I can't believe this is happening. We've never seen anything happen like this before. Can you believe what ICE is doing? Our administration is taking it too far. Notwithstanding the fact that you don't know anything about American history, that means that you vehemently don't believe black people. You've never believed black people when it was Black Lives Matter. You were part of the All Lives Matter crew or the Blue Lives Matter. Black people everywhere have been screaming this from the rooftops since our ancestors were enslaved. This country is a tyrannical dictatorship that kills its citizens. You guys are just in congruence with the government as white people because it was implied that you would be protected. And now you're not. People like Andrew Schultz really grind my gears because he, for all intents and purposes, is a very smart person. He's a very typical white boy in New York who knows all about all these cultures, who has all these cultural friends, all these cultural ties, but is really centrist leaning right. He used his mega platform to bring Donald Trump on to help get Donald Trump views, and then called all of us pansies for calling Trump out for just being a real person. Now, Schultz and many others are backtracking because Donald Trump is in the Epstein files, and now he's calling him a pedo. He was a pedo when he came on your show the first time. And now ICE is killing white people at the behest and command of the government. So because your community is impacted, because now you see that your social contract with the government is gone, it's severed, the ties are cut, now you want to backtrack. Now it's too much. This is the last straw for me. It wasn't the last straw for you with Sandra Bland, Eric Gardner, Emmett Till, Philando Castile, Rodney King. I can name hundreds, I can name thousands of black people who were killed by the government, and then the government lied and said they didn't do it. But here you go. After you use your platform to do the very thing that you shouldn't have done, and now you're fucking scared. Shame on all of you guys.
Listen to me. Any white-led church, any majority white church that does not immediately repudiate this. I mean, this Sunday, if your church doesn't call this out, you need to stand up and walk out and never go back. This is a line too far. You know, either we stand with the black community as full equals, or we stand against them. There is no middle ground anymore. So pick your side. There's no Jesus in this movement. There's no Jesus in this man. This is sick. And if you're not fighting it, you are part of the cancer.
ICE has just executed a white man in Minneapolis. His name was Alex Preddy. He was 37 years old, and after they beat him down in broad daylight, they executed him. He was an American citizen, he was innocent, and he was protecting the women there. There is usually a lot of cuts and heavy editing in my videos, but I think this one deserves a more raw and human approach. I really don't see a future to where this current situation is solved with diplomacy and peaceful protests. We either have to start hunting these animals down or take care of them as soon as they walk into our neighborhoods, or leave the damn country. There is no waiting for Congress to do anything. There's no waiting for your governor to do anything. And there's no waiting for your mayor to do anything. Am I fear-mongering? Yes! I want you guys to feel the same amount of fear as my grandmother felt when bombs were hitting the jungles of Vietnam. They are now murdering the safest demographic of this country in broad motherfucking daylight. The time to fear is now. And within that fear rise anger. Use that anger to protect your family, your children, your neighbors, your relatives. Before I end the video, I just want to touch on something that I haven't seen a lot of people touch on. Joe Rogan, Andrew Schultz, Theo Vaughn. If we ever make it out of this, we cannot allow these animals to go back to society touching vegetables and shit like nothing ever happened. Put them in the same pen as we're gonna put MAGA. These so-called free thinkers and moderates are the same kind of bad MAGA is. And they are a huge contributor to whatever it is that is happening right now. Now, with that being said, I just want to make my message clear here in this video. There is no abolishing ICE. There is no reforming ICE. There is no defunding ICE. Put them in fucking cages and give them the witch trials treatment.
Hey y'all, I'm home from the big protests. We are all absolutely exhausted. I got back and had just started to relax and come back to myself, and then heard, per my last video, that they were starting to blockade the ways in and out of Whipple, corralling protesters and deploying LRAD munitions. Word now confirmed is that Minnesota Department of Transportation is blocking the entrances and exits from Whipple with snowplows, which means this is no longer just Hennepin County Sheriff's Office doing stuff. This is now state government. A really good friend of mine just called Waltz's office And I'm so proud of them. I'm so proud of them. That's civic duty at its best. But like, where's the protection for the people? Why are the sheriff's office, the National Guard, the Minnesota Department of Transportation, why are they all being deployed with full stop to protect the goddamn Nazis? Why are they getting protection and we're getting tear gassed? More munitions were deployed at Whipple today. Jake Lang drove by scattering ice and shot pepper balls at us. But they're there blocking us in and corralling us. Y'all, I'm exhausted. So many amazing people are on the ground. Julie, the person who's been running the safety and supply desk there, manning it solo, paying for it by themselves, like doing all of this. We were watching a stream and we were praying that he was going to be able to get out before he got gassed. This is a man who has dropped his life to provide shelter to people. The number of coats and food that has been donated to homeless people by and through him in the last 2 weeks, 3 weeks is uncountable. And we were worried that he was going to be hassled and arrested by the sheriff and police who are supposed to be protecting people. Because people were saying mean things to ICE.
Hello, brothers and sisters. Welcome back to the channel. I'm hoping that you are doing great from wherever you're watching me from. As you know, I'm your host and presenter Jidok Stories. You know, a lot has been said, and it is time for the Pharaoh to release the Israelites. The time is due, and it has taken a long time for them to realize this. It has taken a long time for them to understand that it is time to let black people be. This is all proven in the scriptures. This is all proven in everything that you see which is happening around. But at the end of the day, these are the things that we need to talk about. Because oftentimes when people say that you don't mess around with God's chosen people, people think it's a joke, because what black people have ever done is just be kind, is try help, is try be there, is try raise issues that is affecting everyone. Let's start with welfare. Let's start with the civil rights movement. They made it possible for everyone to get into the United States. They didn't do it for just blacks. They did it for everyone. And everyone that today you're seeing setting their foot into the United States, it is because of the result of black people going in the streets and people dying on the streets, so that everyone in the United States can have freedom. Underline the word everyone can survive in the United States. And so that's all tells you that all these things that you are seeing happening, it is because of black people. And all that black Americans have ever offered to the United States is just kindness, it's just service, it's just loyalty. But how did it repay them with? Thinking and looking at history, looking back how they sabotaged every good thing, everything that will bring money, everything that will elevate a black person. Look at how it got sabotaged. But hey, here we are. Black people are still rocking it like no one's business. And that tells you that all the punishment that you are seeing happening, all the collapse, all the crumbling, get to have a spiritual perspective. Because I understand that life itself is spiritual. Yes, you'll have to agree with me. Life itself is spiritual. And the moment you stop saying things in a physical world and start saying things spiritually, you will unleash your consciousness. You'll start saying things the way you are meant to see them. And black people became that part of the puzzle. Black people started saying things spiritually, and they say that, no, this is not our fight. We are not joining your protest. We are not doing this. And this is what happened. They let the United States crumble, because in the past, they were going out, hearing their voice, dying on the streets, But this didn't bring any change. And oftentimes, those other groups, when they got what they want, they often changed how they perceived black people. Once they got everything they wanted, the game was now different. It was like, now we can do without you black people. The betrayal, the hypocrisy. So when you get to see all these things that are happening, tells you that what black Americans have been saying for the longest time is just nothing but the truth. And when you get to see all these things spiritually, it makes sense to you that indeed there is a supernatural being that is working for black people. Black people, it is your time to rest. Let God work for you. God Himself is finding ways for you to survive. That is through agriculture. Yes, black agricultural activity has been successful, though small scale, but has been successful. We've seen in the midst of all things crumbling, people not having food or at least a trustable water, black people have found their ways of having their owns for themselves. And this shows you how God Himself is protecting His own children. I'm not saying that white people are not God's children, but when you get to look at the historical happenings, you get to understand that the time is due. And these people owe black people a lot of things. And so when you get to see the connection, align all those things, put them into consideration, you understand that all we've been saying, it's true. And the truth is, America is crumbling. And God is trying so much to protect black people. And we have seen this because white people they don't understand how come black people are doing good during these hard times. They don't understand. They cannot fathom as to why blacks are not complaining about welfare, about blacks are not complaining about the food stamps which are being revoked. They don't understand. Why are black people able to maintain their joy? Where did black people get their resilience, etc., etc.? Such kind of questions. This is because there are punishments that you are getting. Well, it might seem that black people are going through it so much hard. Trust me, currently it's not the same. And black people will tell me in the comment section, I know life is hard for everyone. But that's how it's supposed to be. Because the United States, life was not hard for everyone. We had people that enjoyed privilege. We had people that had enormous of generational wealth. That black people made it possible for them. And so when we get to look at economic inequality, the gap was so big. But the gap is shrinking. The gap is shrinking. The gap is shrinking. And what does that mean? That means that there is an equalization that is going on. There is an equalization that God Himself is trying to bring to the black community, to the United States, and reminding them, you know what? You've done enough. And now this is the moment of the truth. This is the moment when people get to know the truth. The problems that you've caused, all is getting back to you. Now you have to suffer. You have to be angry. You have to fight against your own selves. You have to start complaining about what black people are complaining for the longest time. And this all tells you how karma works. And so seeing all these things happening at the same time tells you how karma is a boomerang, how God Himself find ways of fighting for His own people. Brothers and sisters, I'm your host and presenter Ejidok Stories. I'm hoping to see you on my next video. But until then, I believe and trusting that you are doing great from wherever you're watching me from. I'm your host and presenter Ejidok Stories. But until then, peace, love, and harmony. Salute.